So if you logged on early, you can kind of see behind the scenes. Gusty is sending me some marketing from another agent, and it is funny. It's just very funny. And I don't want to be negative about any agent, especially publicly. But I wouldn't be using this kind of branding on a door hanger. We have one more minute.
All good.
All right, so hopefully we won't have any problems today with you being able to hear me and see me, because we've got a really cool tool coming up. One more minute. All right, it is 9:30, and if you logged in early, you could see a little bit of what was going on behind the scenes. Welcome to technology class, and yes, I know that you're probably shocked to see that it's me teaching you something about technology. But I learned the system many years ago, and it works. In fact, when I moved to Birmingham and left my market in Mississippi, had to start all the way over. This is one of the tools that helped me to build my database. And it still works today, but you have to work it the right way. And I'm going to teach you what it is and how to work it so that you maximize your sign calls. This actually increases your sign calls by 54%. And some of you are so good at converting sign calls that you're going to work this system amazingly. These people that actually will call, the buyers that will call off of this are usually looking right now. They're ready to move today. They're great hot prospects. So that's another reason that I love this system, this tool. What I want you to make sure that you do whenever I start telling you about how to use this is not try to tweak it or change it. You either need to not implement this at all or do it like how I'm going to share it with you today. Otherwise, you're not going to get any results, and then you're going to say, well, that's a waste of time. Okay, so it has a lot of pieces and parts with it. It is technology, but it's also marketing because it is lead generation, and that's what I want for you. I want you, you're coming off this busy closing. You're probably at closings right now if you're not logged in. And you're probably going to need to sustain your pipeline, right, to build it back up because you're closing everything out this week. So this is an excellent way for you to do that, and your sellers will love this tool as well. And it's such a great tool for you to use to promote yourself. So I'm talking about 800 numbers. And I know it's way old school, but I can tell you it works. And if you're interested in making more money, then you'll be interested to hear what I have to say about this. If you're not, then you can poo-poo it, and we'll pick you up on the next class. Okay, so a lot of you probably do property flyers. Some of you hate them because you have to maintain them and print them out and all that garbage. Okay, what you want to do on a property flyer when you use this system is you are using it as a funnel, okay? It's very, very rare when somebody calls you and says, hey, I'm looking for an agent to represent me on a buy. I've picked out the house. Can you meet me there? And I'm going to write you a check today, right? They usually go through a process. They don't wake up like that. So, and the last thing that people, human nature-wise, want to do is talk to a salesperson. People don't want to be sold anything, and they would rather not talk to us, especially if they can get the information in another way. So That's why we use the recordings. And we use the recordings because if people feel like it's a non-threatening way to get additional information, then they'll do it. Now, I had a very, very smart lady ask me in a class recently, she said, I'm not going to use that because people can easily find out all the information that they need online. And you know what? She is right. However, people are still calling in because we have to make sure that we entice them to call in by offering some information maybe they're not going to be able to get online. So this is what I'm talking about. Maybe you could tell a story on your recording about what it's like to live there. We have a script that we follow for every single one of our clients when we make their property flyers and do their recordings, because we have to fill it in a formula. But you can do so much with your recordings. Go ahead and write the name of this system down. It's called Arch Telecom. It's ARCH, and you can go to myarchagent.com, and it's really inexpensive. I believe you can get the system for around $49 a month, which when you see how much money you'll end up making off of it is ridiculous. They could have gone up a little bit on the prices since I've checked them last, but this is also a service that we do provide for our one-on-ones, where we make property flyers for you. And the reason that I started doing that over 6 years ago is because agents are so, they want to please their seller so much. And instead of teaching them at the listing table, why we do flyers the way that we do, you can't just print one of these out and think that a seller's going to be okay. Because a seller thinks that you should put every single thing about their house. They think that, I replaced those windows and I used, steel reinforcement nails instead of regular nails, right? All the stuff that nobody really cares about. And what's worse is they always want their price on there. And if you put a price on, and I've left my phone on for a reason because we're going to do some testing. So you're going to hear it go off here and there. But if you put the price of a house on a flyer, then nobody's going to call you. You only do that in a market where you are completely covered up and you don't want anybody calling you, unless you are, unless they're trying to hunt you down to get into the house because they want it. All right, so there is a place and a time for that in a certain market. But if you want extra leads and you want to be able to have conversations with people, because a property flyer is never going to sell your property, right? It can't. Conversation is. So you have to be able to talk to people first. So you're putting them through kind of like a funnel. You've probably seen a lot of information about funnels, and it's a process. So if they want to, you've got to entice them first to call in that 800 number. And once you get the recording, when they hear the recording, it automatically sends you a text message of who they are with caller ID and their phone number. Okay, even if they didn't even hear the rest of the recording, then you already have the lead in hand. My goal was, whenever I have that ding come in, I'm calling you back right that second, even if I'm with another client, and I'll tell you how to do that in a minute. And I'm going to say, hey, this is Jenny. My system just notified me that you called on whatever property address it is, because it'll tell you what property address is if you set it up correctly. And the back covers are where it's at. So I'm giving you a lot of little tips here as far as things that we've tested and tried. And we know it's proven to work. Because I want you to make a ton of money. And any tool that you can have that makes you innovative or makes you stand out, then I want you doing that. If you copy every other agent that you see and the way that they market, then how can you stand out, right? I want you to be able to have many billboards placed in front of every listing that you have. And this gives you the opportunity to do that, because if you use a property flyer, then with the right information on it, then you want to say, hey, this is like taking a personal brochure, not only of the house, but of me as the agent, because you can put testimonials on it, you can put your days on market, your stats, your buyer savings on it. You can even, I know for a while I used to put all the information about what it was like to have a consultation, a buyer's consultation. So they had the flyer in their hand as they dialed, and they could see all the benefits of meeting with me that they were going to get on that consultation. And again, those kind of things, those kind of systems in your business completely change everything for you. That keeps you in control and working with people you want to work with, which is key. Talked to an agent this morning who was getting ready to fire some clients, and that'll make you feel very powerful. When you have these kind of sit-down consultations up front, you'll know pretty quickly if you want to spend a lot of time with them showing houses or representing them when they go on the market. You'll know, and then you can say, you know what, after we've gotten a chance to meet, I think maybe so-and-so would end up being the best agent to represent you, right? It's easy to do. You pass that off and get a referral fee. So this is how it works. This is what Josh's property flyer looks like. And what you want to do always is no bedrooms, no baths, and again, no price. You don't want to put price on here because you're going to filter out all the buyers. What does every buyer want to know? Price, then bedrooms and baths. So what you want to do is entice them by 3 to 4 bullet points that kind of make the house seem really interesting. What you're doing is not enticing them to see it. You're enticing them to call the 800 number, because that way you can see what kind of interest, right, that they may have for it whenever you get an opportunity to talk to someone about buying the house. Then you can flip them over to another property if this one doesn't work. So on the back, you can have, again, testimonials, but what makes it gold is if you take the time to put all of your other listings on the back, so that you can increase your sign calls even more. Now, what's funny about this is the back is actually where you end up making more money. Because if somebody likes the outside of that house, but maybe it's a $400,000 house and they're a $200,000 buyer, they're going to pull the flyer because they kind of want to see, how much it is, what it's about. You entice them to call, and you call them back immediately to follow up, and that's way out of their price range. Well, if they pick it up and say, oh, look, this is in our price range, because the back, what you want to do is actually put the price on the back and the areas, so that people can say, oh, wow, look at that, that's over in Carrington Lakes, and it is $589,000. I can give a call on that. Or wow, look at that, that's over in Moody, and that's $175. That's closer in my price range. Let me call to get the address. So on the back, we don't put addresses. We put the asking price and the area, so that people will call to find out what the address is. It's just a different way to market that. And then you put, to entice them to call the 800 number, and then you put number 2 on the back, so again, you'll know how to respond. And then here's the question. I really don't want to have to print out all that paper all the time. Okay, I totally understand what you're saying about that. So a system for that is to be able to have your property flyer created and put it in a Dropbox and send it to your client and have them Okay, so lenders, how could you get in on this? Lenders are, a lot of times we'll put lenders on the back. And again, you don't want to put payments on there. But you can put information like how to buy a house with at 100% financing. And again, does it mean that house is 100% financing? No, you want the phone to ring. So, you could put an example of renovation loans or low down payment loans or down payment assistance or USDA. Again, just a little bit of information to get them excited about calling. And those leads, of course, will go to you. So I want to show you how this works. I'm going to go ahead and test it. If you'll pick up your phone and call 1-800-216-5914 and then enter in the extension 3861. Okay, I want to show you exactly how it works. So go ahead and do